Welcome to today's 5-minute Bible study in the book of Joshua. We're looking at the last part of Joshua chapter 11. Today we're looking at verses 20 through 23. Now remember from yesterday's session, this last part of chapter 11 gives sort of a summary of the conquering or the conquest of the promised land. Remember we told you it took about 7 years for Israel to come into possession of the promised land. But now the last couple of verses give us some understanding of some things that at times have troubled us. For example, in verse 20 it says, "For the Lord hardened the hearts of the Canaanite kings to wage war against Israel, so that he might destroy them completely, exterminating them without mercy, as the Lord had commanded Moses." Now we know that oftentimes in the book of Joshua we see these places where they seem to destroy everything. And that troubles us. There have been critics of the Bible who have made the accusation, well, this is a form of genocide, that the Israelites were just simply killing everyone in the land. But that is not what was going on. This is not a total extermination as if they're going to simply kill everyone who is there. And verses 21 and 22 begin to explain what's going on here, why there's such a harsh pronouncement against some of the population. So verse 21 says, "Now at that time Joshua went and destroyed the Anakites from the hill country, from Hebron, from Debir, and from Anab, from all the hill country of Judah, Joshua totally destroyed them and their towns. No Anakites were left in Israelite territory. Only in Gaza, Gath, and Ashdod did any survive." So it seems this campaign of complete destruction was directed not against the entire Canaanite population. That is not what the text says. Rather, it seems to be directed against the Anakites. Now, who are the Anakites? And why was there such harsh punishment against them? This says very clearly, Joshua destroyed them and their town, the Anakites. No Anakites were left in Israelite territory. Why is this punishment toward the Anakites so severe? Well, who are they? Well, to get some idea, we've got to turn back to the book of Numbers chapter 13. Some 40 years ago, when Moses had sent the 12 spies to spy out the land of Canaan. This was when they were supposed to take the land so many years before. But remember, they came back with a bad report. They frightened the Israelites, and so they had to spend 40 years wandering in the wilderness. But let's look at what the spies told them when they came back. We're in Numbers 13, verse 26. It says, the 12 spies, came back to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community. And they reported to them and to the whole assembly, and they gave them the fruit of the land. They gave Moses this account: "We went into the land in which you send us. It does indeed flow with milk and honey. Here's the fruit. But the people who live there are giants, and the cities are fortified and very large. We even saw descendants of Anak there." Did you catch that? There are giants there. We can't beat that land. We even saw the descendants of Anak there. The men who had gone up said, we cannot attack these people. They're stronger than we are. And they spread among the Israelites a bad report about the land they had explored. They said, "The land we explored devours those who live in it. All the people we saw there are of great size. There are giants there. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seem like grasshoppers in our own eyes. We look the same to them as grasshoppers." Notice these descendants of Anak are described as giants. They are the descendants of the Nephilim. And the spies said, "We can't defeat them." And they caused Israel to lose heart. Now, of the spies, 2 said, "We can take the land anyway." Caleb and Joshua. Remember, they're the only 2 who actually went into the land because they believed that God would give them the land. But what frightened them was the descendants of Anak, who are called the descendants of the Nephilim. So, years later, when they go in to take the land, those who must totally be destroyed are the descendants of Anak, the Nephilim. So, when in Joshua, when it talks about placing areas under the ban, which means to totally destroy them, those are the places where the Anakites are, the descendants of Anak. Those are the places where the descendants of the Nephilim are. So what is happening here is not a general decimation of the entire population. This is not genocide. That is an unfair and a false criticism of the text. No, what is being eliminated are the descendants of the Nephilim. Joshua's been told the Nephilim must be driven out of the land. The Nephilim must be destroyed. Those are the descendants of Anak. And it says when the mission was completed, there are no more descendants of Anak in the land of Israel. The Nephilim have been driven out. Now the question is, who are the Nephilim and why is the punishment so severe? We're going to talk about that tomorrow. So, but I want you to see right now, the conquest in Joshua was not to kill everyone. No, that is a false reading of the text. But when they took the land, they were to make sure that none of the Anak survived. They were to be driven out or to be done away with. And the punishment toward them was harsh. They are the descendants of the Nephilim. That's what Numbers says. So, we're going to talk tomorrow about who are the Nephilim and why is the punishment so severe. So join us next time for our 5-minute Bible study in the book of Joshua.